how to respond to a kundalini awakening. If you're someone who has just had a random, out of the blue, what people would call awakening, or whether you've been meditating a lot and you've just had this surge of energy which rises up and down the spine and it's expansive. It might feel quite literally like you've got electricity coursing through your body. You might feel the body swaying, you might feel the body jolting or twisting or rising. All of these and other things are symptoms that kundalini, which is a powerful energy which is normally fairly dormant in the base Muladhara chakra, has started to unwind and uncoil and rise up through the chakras. So in today's video, I'm going to be explaining to you exactly what to do. Now, it's totally natural and normal to feel fear, right? Fear is actually a useful thing in some contexts. Now, I've made videos before where I've explained that fear is a bit like a red cross that marks treasure. It's there to show us where we need to go. Now, that's a broad way of looking at fear. Fear does have some use. If you're stood on a cliff top, you may feel fear, and that fear is useful. It's showing you where there's danger. But the key thing is, use fear as your guide. That will tell you where you are on the level of your ability to cope with this kundalini, and when you start to feel the fear building up, know that you're getting towards the limit of what you're currently able to manage and just take a step back from that. That's absolutely fine. What you'll find is that as the days and potentially weeks and months go on, your body and your being will start to adapt and manage this energy more. You'll actually find that the symptoms of it do start to reduce over time, although many people actually experience kundalini or the effects of kundalini for many months, in some cases even years. This isn't typical, but it does happen to some people. So if you have felt the effects of kundalini for many months or years, do know that that's okay. That is normal for some people. And I say normal because there's nothing that's really normal when we're talking about this type of work. It's all very unique to the individual. So if you start to feel the effects or the rising of kundalini, let's say during meditation, and you start to notice the body starting to sway, or you're starting to feel these sort of spinning or twisting sensations in the body, maybe even you're feeling real powerful energy starting to develop around the body. It might just happen instantly. It might just be a big surge that you don't really have time to sort of work with. It just explodes through you, and in that way you've not really got any time to prepare. But for some people, you'll start to notice smaller symptoms develop. As I say, a twisting, a sort of swaying. You might have random jolts or jerks in the body. These are all byproducts of kundalini. Now, the smaller symptoms, i.e. the twisting, the jolting, the swaying, these are all fine because these are just small symptoms of smaller amounts of kundalini that you're now experiencing. What is important to remember is that in the context of meditation, these experiences can become quite distracting in that you immediately lose the object of the meditation, and now these experiences become the meditation. But as you become more experienced with this, and as you become more familiar, I suppose, with these types of experiences, you will get to a point where you want to let go of the attachment to them. So once you get to a point where you're like, okay, this swaying is happening again, or this twisting sensation is happening again, at some point when you feel ready, just start to move beyond it. Try to let go of your focus on it, because otherwise, as I say, that becomes the meditation and you're not going any further beyond them. So it's okay that you recognize them initially, but at some point say to yourself, okay, it's the swaying again, or it's the spinning again. I'm going to move beyond it now. Now, you might find these experiences start to pick up pace, let's say. They start to become more pronounced, the spinning gets more aggressive and that type of thing. If ever you get to that point that you're feeling worried about it, just stop. There's no shame in getting to a place in your meditation where you say, okay, the spinning is really developing, I'm feeling a bit scared about this or a bit worried. Just stop. There's no shame in doing that. When I say stop, I'm really talking about, let's say you were following the breath. You let go of just following the breath. And rather than stopping and sort of finishing the practice and leaving the room and getting on with your day, come down to what I call contemplation, or what is known in yogic traditions and systems as dharana. contemplation. So let go of the focus, the main focus of your meditation, and just contemplate. That might be contemplating the energy. What is this energy? Where is it coming from? How does it feel? Who you are, contemplating who you are. Who really am I? I'm feeling all of this energy. Is this body really me? Is this, is everything that I'm experiencing actually as I'm perceiving it? I call this phone a phone. I call this glass a glass. Are they really those things, or are those just labels that as human beings have made? These are distinctions that we've made, but what really are they? So you can see how you can start to contemplate reality a bit more. That's what is known, as I say, in yogic traditions as dharana. So you can drop down to dharana, and then if the symptoms of kundalini start to slow down and reduce, when you get to a place where you feel comfortable again, if the fear subsides, you can then go back up into meditation and continue your practice. And if the symptoms develop quite quickly again, drop down to dharana. You might find that they subside and you're able to meditate perfectly fine. You might find that you're not able to meditate because they're coming on with such force that you're concerned about it. So some of the byproducts of kundalini can be exhaustion. They can be the opposite of that. It can be a lot of energy. You might feel electricity, or what feels like electricity, running through your body for days and weeks after. You might feel a lot of energy running through your body for days and weeks after. What I would recommend that you do in those moments is a lot of grounding exercises. So getting outside with your bare feet on the grass or on the sand or even on the pavement, to be honest. Just ground yourself. Eat good food. Eat non-processed food. Eat water that's not got fluoride in it. Eat water. Drink water that's not got fluoride in it. Be around people if you can manage that. You might get to a point where you don't want to be around people, or you don't want to socialize. That's fine as well. Don't feel like something's wrong with you for feeling that way. This is a byproduct of the upgrade that you're going through at the moment. It's totally normal that many people will get to a place where they don't want to be around other people, even if it's for a short period of time. These are all byproducts of the inner transformation that's going on with you. Something that happened to me when I had a big kundalini awakening, and I want to bring it to your attention as well, because when I reflect on it now, I realise that if I'd understood this at the time, it would have alleviated a lot of mental angst that I experienced going through the process. The kundalini awakening meant for me that I struggled to sleep at night because I was going into this meditative state when I was trying to sleep, but it wasn't rejuvenating the body much. So I'd wake up shattered, as you will have experienced at some point. When you're sleep deprived, your mind doesn't work the same. You're kind of semi-anxious, you're a bit jittery. Nothing is in sync. Nothing is as harmonious or as balanced as when obviously we are slept. Now that sounds like a small thing, but that is enormous. The amount that can contribute to your mental stability is huge. So if you've perhaps had a few really bad nights sleep, you're still experiencing these symptoms of kundalini, and you're starting to feel fear, and you're fearful and anxious and unbalanced, know that it's all a byproduct of all of these various things that you've been experiencing. The lack of sleep, the energy upgrade that you're going through, all of the garbage that's probably been shifted when this powerful energy is coursed through you. There's so much that's gone on. Don't be worried. Don't be concerned that you're feeling unbalanced at this time, because everything will, I promise you, come back down to balance. If you're able to ground yourself enough and just gently work through this process, you will get to a point where things come back into balance. Everything is always undergoing change, and your kundalini awakening is exactly the same. You will get to a point where you feel more balanced, but just take your time, be patient. And ultimately, as far as I'm concerned, the best thing that you can do, if you're someone who has had this kundalini awakening and you do have a belief there's got to be something more, I believe in God or the divine or the universe, I would highly, highly recommend that you use this time to really deepen and establish if it's not already there, or deepen if it is there and you want to expand on it, the connection with the divine. Accept that you're experiencing these things, surrender to the divine, and I promise you, you will be feeling better in time. If you're not already feeling on top of the world, if you're feeling on top of the world, then great, just enjoy it. If you're interested in learning more about meditation and you need guidance and support on your spiritual path, then there's a link in the description to my online school. Feel free to join me there. But failing that, I'll see you on the next video. Thanks a lot.